All right, YouTube, here we go. Number 2 is in. So we got the end caps on tank number 2. And let me kind of tell you, give you some numbers here. On tank number 2, as you guys saw, I did this bottom piece yesterday, and that took about 20 grams, of a Pro Seal. Then this side here, I did all at once. I did 120 grams, and let me tell you why. So not only did I do the 120 for this, and you don't need that much, you probably get away with 100. But if you look here, down here, on the back side, it's hard to get the Pro Seal up under there. It should ooze out, but because it's at an angle, so it doesn't ooze out. I found that it didn't ooze out or squeeze out as well. So I had to take my remaining 20 grams, put it on my finger, well, with a glove, and smush it in there and kind of run it. And it's kind of an awkward position to get your hand up in there because of the angle and everything. It's not like one of these flat pieces where you can just run. And the other thing is that with these here, you had enough room with your gun. Well, here you don't, because it's in there. Now, I guess you could get a tip that's angled or whatever, that goes under there. So I made up an extra 20 or 30 grams of that because I also had to do it to this tank as well. So that's where the extra came in. So let me give you the numbers. Easily 70 grams per rib will get you coating like what I have. And that includes the 1/2 inch all the way around. That's encapsulating the whole thing. Now, if you did what Vans wants you to do, 50 grams, which is basically run a line here, squeeze it, and then do your fillets, and then dab each. Well, that's out of focus. Dab each one with the fillet, right? So you can do that with 50 grams. Yeah, so that's I prefer this. See how I came out 1/2 inch? It's about a 1/2 inch, I would say, just maybe 3/4, probably about 3/4. Over the piece, overlapped. And then, of course, I did my fillets on the inside, as you guys can see as well. So that's if you do it my method, the cover-all method, I'm going to call it the cover-all method. And I don't know if it's any better, right? We're going to find out when we pressure test it. 70 grams. And that's 70 grams of the part B, and then 7 grams of the part A. So it's 77, right? So 7. I'm basing it on the primary. So 70 grams of the big stuff, the white stinky stuff, and then 7 grams. So it's 77 grams actually. But yeah, so it took 120 grams. I got everything that you see here, plus the underside, all of that, and then those 2 runs on the inside of those. And then, of course, that one with 120. So if you're only having to do one side, then 100 would do. Now, that's the other thing. These cartridges, these are the smaller cartridges here. They are the 2.5 ounce. You're only going to put about 100 grams in there. That's all you can fit in there. If you put any more than that, it's going to start oozing out. And then it's too much for it to push. So about 100 grams for those guys. The other thing is when cleaning the outside edge. Now, if it's not a rivet line and I'm cleaning it, yeah, I'll use mech. Like if I get like my hand, like I stick my hand, and you're going to do that, wear gloves. You're going to stick your hand and you're going to touch the metal, and you're going to have that. And instead of fighting it, I did use mech on that. But as long these rivet lines, I went to a store, you can get whatever, and I used alcohol to clean those up. As long as you clean them up while it's still wet, you won't have any problems. If you let it cure up, yeah, you're gonna have issues. And that's the recommendation. And that the fear is that mech will get inside between the rivet head and the thing, and it will cause it to you have all sorts of problems. Well, I've heard people say that the mech blistered paint and because it off gases and all of that stuff. I don't know. As long as these tanks sit, I don't know if that's the case, but who knows, right? But that mech will soften up and keep that rivet from sealing up totally. So yeah, that's where we're at. I think the off gas, to be honest with you, is because the rivet doesn't seal up. Then your AV fuel is what blisters the paint, not the actual mech. Doing it. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. Don't claim one, don't play one on TV. So yeah, so that's about it. So I was able to get in here. There were some things I needed to clean up here. This is the other tank. And I can't stress this enough. And everybody that does ProSeal's a mess. It really is. Make sure you have plenty of rags. I use those blue shop rags that are sitting there. Those don't work. I'm just going to let you know. They work, but you're going to be fine. Get yourself a bed sheet or something, tell your wife you're going to buy her, or husband or partner or whoever. Tell them that you're going to buy them new sheets and then take the old ones and cut them up. These things are phenomenal, and they work really well. So yeah, so that is it. I got the end caps on. I'm going to come through here with a Scotch-Brite pad and clean all of this stuff up here before I actually see it. Of course, I'm going to take my labels. I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I left them on. And I kept on telling myself, you got to take those labels off. You got to take those. And I still left them on. So, and it was mainly this tank. I don't think I've got any on this tank. I got one on the end. I don't know. Yeah. It's, I don't know. I have no idea. So yeah, we'll take those labels off, get everything cleaned up. I'm gonna go through. You can see I've got some little ribbons of ProSeal. Like I said, I'm not gonna touch that with a mech. The recommendation is just take a Scotch-Brite pad and clean it up with that. This stuff here, I'm gonna clean up with with my little Ryobi hand tool. With a polishing stone, and I'll just get those cleaned up and everything. So yeah, so end caps number 2s are on. I followed your directions, guys. I put ProSeal everywhere. I probably got more ProSeal, but to be honest with you, I probably added about maybe a pound, if that, to the total weight of the airplane. Because if I did it the Vans way and it was 550 and I added 20, so you're 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, we'll round it up, say 200. So not even, by that math, it's not even 200 or not even a half a pound of weight that I've added to the airplane by ProSealing it up. Don't think, though, that doing it this way, you still have to kind of be mindful. Do I have is there a little gap right there? It looks like a gap. Be mindful that the whole idea is to keep, nope, it's sealed. Nope, it's a gap. So I have to mark that. The whole idea is to seal, and I'll go back through this anyways and just kind of touch it. So the whole idea, let me get my thought process here, is to seal from the inside out. So this is your first line of defense, and there you go. So, I'll re-inspect it and everything, and nonstop. It's a nonstop inspection process. So, yeah, you want to protect. If the fuel can't get to the rivet, then you don't have a leak, right? Now, the last point of defense is the rivet, and the gasket that you form there. And so the whole trick is to keep the fuel from getting to the rivet to begin with. If it can get to the rivet, you know, you've eliminated almost twice, because you got to remember, you have the outside fillets, then you have the gasket that you form when you squeeze the part together, and then you have the gasket that you form at the rivet head by, when you squeeze this, you're going to have squeeze out, and you can see kind of like the gasket of Pro-Seal that gets formed around these rivet heads. And so that's the last line of defense. So you want to make sure your fillets are good and that these inner pieces are good, and then you work your way out from there. That's what I was told, and it makes perfect sense to me. So, all right. So that's about it. I'm going to get out of here. I got to get the shop cleaned up and everything, and I got to get home and do some honeydew work there at the house. And yeah, even though it's a vacation, it's not. So I got some other things I got to do and everything. So, like always, leave your comments, your concerns, your questions, all of that in the comment section. I'll get back to you when I can. Keep them to the airplane. Don't care about all the other stuff. If you're doing something and have a question, I'm not the person to ask, but go ahead and ask anyways. I'll be glad to help you and tell you what I did. Your mileage might be a lot different. So be well, and God bless.